Stonehocker. I'm 35. I live in California. I work in HR systems. I get super nerdy about spreadsheets full of people. I'm a triathlete and a musician. I love teaching just about anything. For as long as I can remember, I've had same-sex attraction, and also for as long as I can remember, I have had a knowledge of the existence of God and a relationship with Him. I don't remember when I gained my testimony of the gospel of Jesus Christ because it happened so early. But yeah, I mean, every time a thought or like a feeling of attraction would come, I'd be like repenting for it. Like, sorry for that thought, and that thought, and that one, and that one. And so there was a period of that. And in a lot of ways, I wanted to pretend like it didn't exist. Not really, because I always knew it was there, and it presented itself constantly. But I mean, in the time that when I was a kid and growing up, it was really difficult to it was just something you didn't talk about. And so I kept it inside, and I was really afraid that anybody would ever notice it in my mannerisms. And I actually did, I didn't struggle a lot with, or I guess I usually separated, like, I guess I thought, well, I have feelings of attraction, or like I have these thoughts that come into my head, but I'm not actually gay. I did have times when my brothers called me Femi, and that was really difficult, and I was, a lot more emotionally sensitive. I actually separate a lot of that because really a lot of that stuff is just my personality, and it doesn't actually, it's not necessarily connected to who I'm attracted to, or the actions that I choose. My mission, which, I mean, you could think that would be a difficult time. It was actually kind of an awesome time, because I had a guy who was assigned to be with me 24/7. I had a friend. I had somebody that I was commanded to love. Like, I was supposed to love my companion, and other people probably had a hard time doing that. And like, why do I have to do this? Why is this important? Why do we have to have companionship inventory? Why is our companionship relationship important to teaching the gospel? And I'm just like, yeah, I have somebody who has to have a good relationship with me. So many people wanted to like wait and play around, and I was just like, what? What is the deal? I'm ready for marriage and family right now, like day one. If I had had somebody to marry day one, I would have been ready for it. And then I kept dating, and then I kept dating, and I dated a lot. Lots of first dates, second dates, third dates, maybe. No relationships that would ever go anywhere. Part of that's because I never practiced in high school. So I had no idea what I was doing. And all of a sudden it was like, high school was don't do anything, don't do anything, don't do anything. And then back from the mission, it's like, get married, do it all now. And I didn't know how. And so, here I am 35. And still, I've had one girlfriend once for 1 week, because I got to that relationship. I had never kissed anyone. I never held anybody's hand. And so I go into that relationship. I held her hand. I was super excited about that. I mean, because I was progressing the relationship. It turns out I got bored of that pretty fast. I was like, wait, do I still have to hold her hand? Because like, it's kind of hot and sweaty, and it's not like, I don't really like it. But I liked her. I do like women. I'm attracted to them in just about every other way. And so like, I wanted this relationship to work out. And sometime in that 1 week that we were dating, we were walking around the block and just kind of talking about, I was trying to figure out my feelings. And she said, do you ever want to kiss me? And well, I kind of did, actually. And so we kissed, and it was the weirdest thing, and I didn't feel anything good, anything positive. I mean, talking to people since, yeah, okay, found out that lots of first kisses are horrible, and you don't necessarily feel anything. Like, okay, wish somebody had told me that. But it still doesn't really change the other part that was going on inside me, that this same-sex attraction part of things. So, but up to that point, I still hadn't named it to myself. I was still in the mode of, I have these thoughts all the time, but I am not, like, I'm not gay. That isn't who I am. It's just like, I have these thoughts that happen frequently, but temporarily, and they're going to go away. And I think I was hoping that if I could make it not matter, and I could get through to marriage, that then like it wouldn't matter anymore, because then I wouldn't need to worry about like where attractions were. Like, I would have someone, we would be married, we would work things out together, and then everything would be fine. When I kissed her and I didn't feel anything, and it was so weird and it was so foreign, the thoughts that went through my head were, what if it's real? Like, what if it's not just like these temporary thoughts that I get all the time? What if this is a real thing in my life? And what if this is going to get in the way of me dating and getting married? What if, what if it's something I can't actually pretend away? And I started crying, like right there with her. And we just like stood there, hugging, and her kind of like just holding me and comforting me. And I couldn't tell her why I was crying, obviously. Or I guess it was obvious to me at the time. I had never told anybody, even in my patriarchal blessing, which I got in my early teens. And there was also a little part of it, like when it talks about marriage, it says one day. And I was like, why does that sound like it's so far away? Why did you phrase it that way? And I think in a way it was preparing me for something that, marriage that has been delayed a lot longer than I ever thought it would be. And I actually don't know when that's coming, or whether it will happen in mortality or later. So I really liked to be really open and have people be able to come into every corner of my life. And so it was painful for me to have a corner of my life that they couldn't go into, that I tried really hard to keep them out of. And then the other part was, I guess, a follow-on to that, feeling alone, feeling like I was the only one. And I knew there were gay people in the world. I knew that, obviously, but I didn't feel like there was anybody that I knew that I could talk to. I didn't want to talk to anybody who was like out loud and proud, like, because I didn't want to live that life. And I didn't want to be, I guess, tempted in that direction or persuaded in that direction. And other people who were like me, who wanted to live the gospel wholeheartedly, I didn't know who they were, because just like me, they were hiding. And there was no way for us to find each other. But what I do know is that the God that I know will not allow me to be permanently in a situation that doesn't allow me to choose his plan and be completely happy with it. And so, since I understand his plan to be exaltation, being married to a woman for time and eternity, I know that at some point he's going to make it possible for not just for that to happen, but for me to enjoy it as much as any other man ever did. I am bigger than this struggle that I have right now, as an eternal being, and God is bigger than it as well. He can take care of it he's solved way bigger problems. He has a tendency to turn hard things into beautiful things and broken things into amazing things. And he has this amazing kind of artistic ability to take something that looks like it's completely the wrong thing and make it into the most beautiful right thing that could ever be. So I think one thing that I often end up talking with people about when I'm kind of sharing and we're talking through the difficulties of all of this, and maybe they'll ask the question like, how do you face it? How is it okay? I think something that's been important for me to realize is that I don't have a monopoly on suffering. And I'm actually part of a singles ward, a mid-single adult ward. And I mean, if I think about it, I mean, people might think that I can't handle my life because I'm not having sex. That, you know, because I'm a same-sex attracted man that I therefore have this need to have sex, and because of the same-sex attraction with other men. But I'm in a ward full of people who, I mean, maybe some of them are having issues, but they're not having sex either. And they're thriving. And they're working through this, and they're serving and they're giving and they're loving and they're belonging, and they're not having sex either. And yeah, I might not end up getting married in mortality, but there's a lot of people there who won't either. There are a lot of people in the world who for whatever other reason won't be able to get married, or there are other things in their life that they'll never be able to enjoy during mortality. I mean, it's difficult. It's obviously difficult, and it's it's something I have to work with every day. And I don't mean to say that it's not special, but also we're not the only ones.